Can we start off with Hood? Because we've got some stuff to navigate on this one.
Yeah, so I posted the trade on my X yesterday, a little shameless plug on my X, but I essentially said, hey, is this trade bullish or bullshit? And for the I didn't get a lot of response on it, but for the most part, it's coming in as bullish. So here's the whole trade in a nutshell. And keep in mind, I have zero emotion to this stock because I think your boy Vlad lied live on television about the whole Citadel thing. I think that he was pressed up against the corner and he had to do what was best for his company. It wasn't the best thing for retail investors, but at the end of the day, he's not going to bite the hand that feeds him. So I don't have any emotion to this. This is just a trade for me that is turning into a bit of an investment. As I study the company a little bit more, I listen to people like you. I even listened to Chris Hager on the Wheelers Marathon the other day, and he makes some very compelling arguments for Hood as well, even though he doesn't understand the 3% thing, right? So
let me set up some of the things that happened. So we had 5,000 shares. We bought 2,500 2 days ago, because for those that saw, TJ and I were on a podcast for 6 hours till 3 a.m. in the night. So if anyone caught that, you caught that. And we bought 2,500 shares overnight. The problem is we sold covered calls on all 7,500 shares at $24 on 10/18, which is right after their event, versus on 2,500 shares. So the question we have to figure out now is, do we want to keep 75 covered calls at a 24 strike on Hood the day after their event? And do we want to roll that and navigate that or not? Because again, we were only supposed to do it on 25, but we ended up doing it on 75. So how do we think we navigate that position now?
Yeah, so I don't think we have to do anything right now because it's out of the money, right? Where's Palantir trading at, or where's Robinhood trading at right now?
22.81.
Yeah, so I don't roll anything that's out of the money. Like, we're winning this trade, right? That's the reality. Like everything else that you just said, it's a bet on what may happen. I play in a game called reality. And what is real to me is that we have an average cost of $20.66, and this thing's going down right now, and it's at $22.80. So we're going to collect this beautiful thing right here called Theta Decay on this covered call.
So I disagree. I think we should get rid of 50 covered calls because I think I think that if it's just a trade and you don't care, then we let them get sold at 24 and we deal with this whole rolling stuff.
Yeah, but again, these aren't the tablets coming down to Moses, and this isn't the 10 Commandments, dude. A covered call is a very fluid contract. Like let's go to where it's just you and I. You know how Anthony Noto needs to stop this fucking shit about SoFi and the banking and the metrics and lamenting over and over about our fucking FICO scores? You're always going to get a banking valuation, and that's all you talk about. Like Galileo has to come correct with some CAGR in order to get a hybrid multiple. That's why we're all pissed off at Anthony Noto. There's some people that are calling for his head, etc., because he bears a lot of the responsibility there, because that's the fucking narrative that he's been pumping out from day one. But one day he said we're the AWS and fintech, but nobody really knows what the fuck that even means, right? So I want to stop this narrative. Just because the fucking cover call says we're going to sell it at 24 doesn't mean we're going to fucking do it.
I agree, TJ. I agree. I've heard this thesis you've had many times, but I disagree on doing it on something that's in an uptrend that has catalysts. I philosophically disagree. If the shares get sold at 24,
I totally hear you, but the thing is, Palantir doesn't pay a dividend. Palantir is not, I'm sorry, Robinhood is not a foregone.
No, that's fine, but that doesn't matter. If the stock's going to be higher than 24, maybe it's not. But if you have good enough of a reason to think there's a chance, I think limiting the upside there for pennies, when we have 7,000 shares and we could be making many tens of thousands of dollars, that doesn't make sense to me personally.
I don't know what I did on my computer here. Hold on one second. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
I get your point, though. I get your point.
This is you're making really, really good cogent points, but I think that people don't understand what the total function is of a covered call. So what is the function of a covered call? You're a fucking master debater. What's the function of a covered call in your mind?
It's a hedge against the downside. Essentially,
that's the first function. The second function is it does cap your upside gains, right? That actual contract, those things are absolutely unequivocally. How do you say that?
You're right. Unequivocally, yeah.
I'm fucking trying. It's undoubtedly true. It's true. But we know that we specialize on rolling contracts. And even if Robinhood goes to like $30, I am absolutely comfortable playing this stock from behind for the next 3 to 5 years and catching it. Because I don't, even though it's just a trade, it's not a trade that I want to exit right here, right now. So it doesn't pain me as much as you guys would think to have a cover call at 24, roll it at 25, roll it at 26, and Palantir could be at 35 for all I fucking care.
No, I agree. I
is tying up a lot of money on a stock that could easily go down just as quickly as it could go up.
But that's the disagreement there. If you have good enough reasoning to think it's not easily going to go down for whatever reason, that's where I think the hedge to the downside doesn't make too much sense. I agree with you. Rolling it, and you know how to roll really well, is good. I personally don't want to be stuck rolling something for 3 to 5 years if I really want the shares. That's especially if it's an uptrend. That's my only disagreement.
Yeah, dude.
But I'm, and also for the people in the chat saying I'm emotionally attached to this, that is incorrect. I understand this company very well. I understand the catalyst. I don't care. It's like at the end of the day, it's not even my money. It's TJ's money, right? If we sell it at 24, that's great. He made a great profit from $20. But if it goes to 30 and we could be making another $6 a share because there's catalysts that are kind of obvious to see how it's playing out.
So how much money is that? Let's do the math. Because it comes down to the RR, right? Like we don't talk. I mean, I just don't like to do Wheeler's 301 with you guys because I feel like I'm going to lose you guys. But there's this thing that their metric that I always look at. It's the risk to reward, right? So what is that?
I'll do it right now. I'm doing it right now. If we sell it at 24, you'll make 25 grand profit. If you sell it at 30, you would make 70 grand. Yeah, it's a 50 grand delta.
Yeah, so that's a big difference, right? So it's like in poker, you have this thing called pot odds. Pot odds. Can you just do it to where we're talking? We're going to educate some people tonight, fuckers. Y'all wanted to go here? We're going to go here. So what are pot odds in poker? Can y'all geniuses without Googling tell me what you think pot odds are? Because you're fucking wrong. But I just want I want to hear what you think pot odds are. What do they mean in poker? Because it's the same shit in the stock market. Risk reward is what you think it means and what it actually means are two totally different things. So let me see if anybody is a poker aficionado here, because it's the exact same shit.
Actually, so I have no idea what pot odds are.
Okay. So there's a lot of people that say, I got a call because I'm getting pot odds. You've never heard that in poker? You need to get out more. Watch ESPN, bro. You'll learn a lot about investing in poker. You'll learn a lot because of poker. So whenever, let's say there's $100 in the pot, and you only have to bet $10 to see how it all plays out, you're getting 10 to 1 on your money, right? You invest 10 with the chance to win $100. That's pot odds of 10. You following me so far?
Yeah.
Middle?
Yeah.
So it's 1,000.
10 to 1. 10 to 1.
You get 100. You're getting 10 to 1 on your money. Those are pot odds, right?
Right.
But what pot odds really mean, that's a component of pot odds. But what pot odds really mean is, what are your pot odds divided by your percentage to actually make the hand? Because if you only have a 500 to 1 of actually making the winning hand, then you're just essentially lighting $10 on fire, even though you're getting 10 to 1 on your money to make that call. So mathematically, even though it makes sense because you're getting 10 to 1 on your money, but if you don't actually have the chance of producing the winning result, then you just literally lit another $10 on fire. So it doesn't matter what your odds are if you're not going to win that bet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to investing, I have to look at how much did those shares cost. So let's go back to
$20.66
times how many shares?
7,500. So
what is that?
That is about 155.
So there's $155,000 that's not going to collect any money because we have this theory, right? And the theory is that these shares are going to go up in value, and then I'm going to sell covered calls at a higher level that is going to yield me more premiums than I would get right now, because if the share price is higher, it stands to reason that the covered call premium is going to be higher. A. B, you're also already locking in more intrinsic value, because if I own the shares at $20.66 and I start selling covered calls when Palantir is at $25 a share versus at $22 a share, the way that we did it the other day, or $22.50, whatever it was, right on the overnight session.
Yeah.
The difference is I already have an extra $2.50 of baked in money, right? Times 7,500 shares. It's a lot of money. It's probably like 20 grand, give or take.
Right. Yep.
So that's the argument for not doing it. And that argument holds a lot of water. And it's a very, very valid argument, dude. Because right now I have a lot of open shares on SoFi, and I'm not willing to sell covered calls on SoFi until SoFi has at least a 9 handle on it. Because at 150 shares going from 8 to 9, well, hell, I'm already making, even though it's on paper only, I'm making an additional $150,000. That way, if I get in a bind on covered calls a little bit higher, well, I at least locked in a lot more money versus struggling over here. So that is what your argument is. It's like, why do you want to create this stress for peanuts, right?
Right.
The issue is because if I look at the collective situation in the portfolio, I already have a lot of dead money, and I'm not really in a situation to where I can afford to have more dead money on the books.
No, I get that. I get that. The problem is your argument is it's dead money. And if there's catalyst coming up where that money wakes up, then it's not dead money, right? But so it's a question of being patient at that point. Yeah. And that's what everything you're saying makes sense, dude. I agree with covered calls. I like it. I like doing those. It's just when something's in an uptrend and there's momentum, we could be wrong about it. Probably could go to $18 after their big event or whatever. And that's where the covered call acts as a hedge. But if we have reason to believe, because we're smart, that there is some momentum here that might make the odds of 24 or 27 versus 18 or 17 to the upside higher. That's where I'm like, all right, we just wait. Just like we did on NVIDIA before earnings, right? We just waited.
Yeah. So here's the other counter arguments, right? Again, let's go into Wheeler 301. Y'all wanted to go here. We're going to go here. Okay. So my argument is to leave. You think they're no. Let's look at the trade, because I mean we're talking about trying to fix this trade because you're not happy with this trade right now, and I don't want you to be, because we're not done with this trade. Whenever I put the original tweet, what did I say? What's the argument for not doubling right here, right now, right?
Yeah.
And what did happen? I only bought 2,500 shares, right? Yeah. Because I wanted to have this conversation with you, because whenever you guys see a position, you guys think that that's it. It's the 10 commandments and they're not going to add any more to it. I'm telling you, no, we're in a different covenant now. You don't have to do the 10 because nobody could do the 10. So God simplified it, made it easy. And he said, hey, just love each other with your heart, as yourself, and then love me with your heart, your mind, your soul. Those are the 10 now, right? It's only down to 2 because we weren't solid enough to do the 10. So I'm telling you, this position isn't done yet. I would rather buy an additional 2,500 shares right now and leave those unencumbered and let me collect the premiums, because I'll manage those. And then I've got another 2,500 shares that are free to run anyway, because we're still building the position. Like, this position isn't done. Like, we're just getting started here, dude. It's the first inning. It's the second inning with Robinhood. It's not like where if you've been in Palantir from day one, it's more like the third inning or the fourth inning with Palantir. You follow me? This position is very new to the portfolio. Or if you're so damn bullish on Hood, I'm sorry, I keep misspeaking because I have Palantir in my mind. Yeah. No, it's because I have it over here on my phone and it's on Palantir because I'm monitoring something. Because I'm trying to roll those $12 covered calls on the phone. So anyway, the thing is, dude, we're still not done building the position. How big is the position going to get? So I'm thinking that eventually we're going to get this thing to 20,000 shares. So this is it's very early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's fine. I'm totally fine with buying more. The only point of this discussion, which I think is really good for people, is just I didn't agree with capping the gains for it so quick. But if we're getting more shares and those shares can run free, then that's fine. But that's up to you if we want to really buy that many more shares. Because I know for you, it's still a trade more than it's a long. And that's something we have to think about, right? Do you want to tie up that much money in Hood? I have that conviction. But at the end of the day, it's money that would be going long versus just as a trade for you. I'm even saying, even if it's just a trade, I feel like the covered call caps the premium.
But that's the thing. It's a trade that is turning into an investment, because I keep reading and watching videos on Robinhood and stuff, because I don't get into trades. I'm not Chris Patel. I don't trade the market. I'm an investor. So I sell cash secured puts and cover calls while the investment thesis is playing out to see whether or not it graduates into a longer term investment. I like to sell puts and calls on those companies because I don't want to constantly be looking for the next ticker. Like right now, dude, our adjusted cost basis on Hood, I keep wanting to say freaking Palantir, dude. It's because I was watching your damn thing. Y'all are like getting me all crazy with this Palantir narrative.
Yeah, $40, bro. $40 freaking dollars, man. Come on.
But do we have an adjusted cost basis of 14.18? You know, and the whole thing is I want to manufacture the win on this thing. So I got to sell a shitload of puts, a shitload of calls along the way because every dollar that comes in, like, what's the ultimate game? Is right now I'd like to own those 7,500 shares with other people's money, but we don't.
Because dude, I get it. I 100%. The only disagreement we're having here is this time frame. This next 2 weeks is my only disagreement. That is literally it.
Right.
Other than that, I agree with everything you're saying.
I love it. So I'm just here to challenge you because you're going to get a lot better at this thing than I ever will because you're just you're smarter. That's just the reality. So you're in a more unique situation with more brain power.
Yeah, and again, I want to stress to everyone, I love Robinhood. I like this stock. Obviously, I've been covering it. This is not an emotional thing. I'm being logical in terms of the catalysts that are coming up with crypto, the event, the bull market, etc., S&P job report. And that's where I'm saying, all right, maybe capping the upside in the short term. If it runs to 25, dude, if it was at 25 right now and you said, hey, let's sell covered calls at 27, I'd be like, yes. Like, of course, we have a $20 average. Why not?
Awesome. So here's, again, we got to look at these Greeks, right? Because these Greeks they control the price action of the market. So what does this Greek tell you right here, man? What's that 32 delta tell you?
There is a 68% chance that we don't hit 24.
Right. But it also tells you that this options price is 49. So if Palantir, or God dang it, if Robinhood goes up $1, that's gonna cost us 32 cents. It's gonna add 32 cents. You know what I'm saying? Like for because whenever a cover call is going up or a stock is going up, that puts pressure on your cover call because you're getting closer to your strike price. Whenever the share price goes down, that's putting or taking pressure away from your covered call because you're further away from your strike price.
Right.
You follow me? So for every dollar in movement in the underlying, you're either going to gain that amount of delta or you're going to lose that amount of delta. It's either going to be added to the options price or it's going to be subtracted from the options price. That's what delta is in a nutshell. And it's also a shortcut way of calculating just a percentage of assignment versus non-assignment.
Right.
But then this other thing is live and well. And what is that right there, man? What's that? It's called
theta, which is how much time decay you have.
No, but it's also how much money you're collecting for every day that we're in a contract.
Correct.
So I'm just thinking, my argument to you is all of those things are true. Everything that you're saying is 100% valid, right? If the debate was over right here, right now, I would raise my flag and say admit one. But this is where I'm going to offer you a little bit of pushback now. If we just stay in this trade for another week, we're going to collect another $18 to $20 on this thing right there. And why not consider closing the position then? And then here right now we're break even. I think that we could be winning like $1,500. And then we close this thing out, maybe say next Friday, because we're still a week away from the big event at that point. And then we can see what happens. And then maybe we get more information, more data, something's leaked. And then would you be more comfortable with this thing had a $25 or a $26 handle? Because we have more upside and we still collected more premium along the way. So again, just because this is what the trade is now, that doesn't mean that that's what the trade is going to be. Again, these aren't the 10 commandments. There's always iterations happening in the portfolio because it's a very fluid situation, and this is actively managed on a daily basis.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It says 24. I think by the time the event happens, it's going to be minimum 25, more than likely 26. And I'll be sleeping like this because, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to believe that Palantir is going to pump. What is that? If it was a 26 handle right now, how much does Palantir have to go up? Or how much does it have to go up?
We're past 26 on Palantir. You're asking what the market cap is, if it's at 26?
No. I'm saying what percentage does, because 10% would put it at about 24 and some change. So you're essentially asking Robinhood to pump about 20% to get to $26 a share.
Yeah, round about 20%. Yeah.
Yeah, because right now, what does it have to go to 24? It's less than 10%, right?
Correct. About 7%. Yeah.
So there's not a lot of protection there, so to speak. There's not a lot of room to run before we're totally in trouble. So
Yeah.
my idea was, why not stay in this trade for another 3, 4, 5 days, collect some of that theta, and then we can close the trade out. We maybe made $1,000 on the covered call, because this thing's not causing me any stress right now. It hasn't even lost us any money, surprisingly. I thought it
Yeah,
might.
and also if Bitcoin takes a little dippy dip after Middle Eastern headlines, Robinhood's probably going to take a dip as well, and the covered call will print even more. It's just, you know, within the time period of it. So yeah,
Yeah. So I guess the argument is always, do you take the hedge off to take off the ceiling, right?
correct.
That's the argument. So maybe take 25 off. We buy 2,500 shares, and now we've got 5,000 shares that are free to run, and we got another 5,000 shares that we're monitoring. How does that sound? That's kind of like a meet in the middle type
I think
situation.
that's very fair. I think that's very fair.
Because I'm not an unreasonable human being.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. When we bought those 2,500 overnight, I was like, yeah, let's sell covered calls on those, but let's leave a core position to run in case, you know, because I don't want there to be 75 squatters if they're just not doing anything. So
yeah, it's awesome. And guys, if you want to get good at life, if you want to get good at doing things like this, you always have to be willing to talk to people that are going to challenge you.
You got to be able to debate. You got to get through it. That's
Well, I'm just saying, because it's painful, but that's where the growth occurs. It's like growing in life, dude. Whenever you have that growth spurt when you're 12, 13, 14 years old, it's very painful because your bones are real fragile. Because holy moly, you're 6 inches taller. You're 12 inches taller in a very short amount of time.
And the thing is, dude, for the people, the 1,500 people here in the chat that want to become high-level wheelers, which I'm not at that level yet. You are obviously much more at that level. These are high-level wheeler discussions.
Yeah.
Like these are like capping off the premium to take off the hedge. All this, like these are real intimate discussions around this topic. And if people want to make this a business that even generates a couple thousand more for them per month in cash flow, which I would like to do one day as well. I mean, like these are discussions you got to be able to have with other people. So makes sense.